Hello everyone and welcome to Mountain Lake Journal. I'm Tom Halleck. We hope you had a wonderful Christmas. We're just a few days away from the new year and the beginning of a new era at Plattsburgh City Hall, where Wendell Hughes will be taking over in the next week as the new mayor. Hughes sat down with us a couple of weeks ago to talk about his new job and priorities as mayor. This week we continue our conversation about the need for housing, whether the long-delayed DRI project may be back on the drawing board, and the search for a new police chief. As you meet with the council, as you begin the first month of being mayor, what are your priorities? What do you want to tackle first?
Boy, there's so many things that there are so many things. But first and foremost, I think we have to finish the budget process. We can find out where we are, and then...
That's due on January 15th.
Yep, and then the police chief is always still huge. I mean, we got to get into the... we have to find somebody to be our police chief. I don't want to understate that because I think that's huge going forward. Walking during the campaign, a lot of people talked about public safety, whether it's speeding or, we've had a couple murders, we've had our share of stuff, and we just want to make sure people feel safe in our community. And that is so important. Especially, that's one of the bigger building blocks. And then infrastructure is the next thing. We really have to start picking away at these infrastructure projects.
The city has been making steps toward replacing, obviously, the Margaret Street project dealt with a lot of infrastructure. What are some of the other priorities now as far as infrastructure in the city?
Well, bringing the water into the city. The dam, and right now we're looking at I think we have 2 wells right now as well. So, getting the water to the city is huge. Having water and sewer is, that's a foundation of every city, right? Without clean water and a place for our sewer to go, we're in trouble. So, just maintaining those lines and going through and prioritizing each and see how old each of these sections are, and then, looking for grant opportunities. And, I talked to the grant writers for the city the other day, and we shared what we were looking at, and it was really a really great conversation, and, hopefully we find some money.
Back during the campaign, we did hear that there were some concerns about Meade Dam, where the water supply comes from. There's some issues that could have to be dealt with and cost millions and millions of dollars. Any update on that?
Well, they're looking, they're in the process of doing some work there, but there's always a process where when you make that dam better, then they come in and they reassess the dam, and then we pay more taxes in the city too. So it's multifaceted. We got to make it safe, and as we do that, and it's just like a homeowner, they're going to come in and probably make us pay more taxes on that land too. So, but the most important thing is making that dam safe and getting clean drinking water to every resident in the city of Plattsburgh.
Not only do we need money for infrastructure, but to state lawmakers, to the governor's office, what message do you send of what Plattsburgh needs?
Well, we need housing. Housing's huge. We have a couple areas that we can develop in the city, and it would be nice having some assistance with that. Getting infrastructure and everything to those new areas. Reeves Lane is a beautiful piece of property, but it's expensive getting the infrastructure there. So, and there's so many state programs and federal programs, which ones work best for us and our developers that we end up with. We just have to make sure we get the right projects in the right spots.
Lower income housing, is that really what's needed, or do you need all kinds of housing?
We need all types of housing in the city of Plattsburgh. And then having finishing up the zoning laws. They've been redoing the zoning laws in the city for quite a while now. And I sat down with a few folks in the city, and they've been running over some of the changes, and I think it's going to be a little easier to do business in the city of Plattsburgh.
Those changes have been necessary to allow for the development of more housing?
I believe yes. Some of them I don't agree with, some of them that make the most dense areas more dense, but some of the other, I think it's going to make it a little easier to do business in the city.
Are you moving ahead and going to encourage the city and the city council to seize more of those opportunities to try to get Restore New York grants? There was the project that got a lot of attention last year, the former Key Bank building on the corner of Brinkerhoff and Margaret, where Restore New York money could have been used for that project, and for a number of reasons, people chose not to pursue that.
I was a little disappointed they didn't come back again this year. I was kind of excited about seeing a boutique hotel downtown Plattsburgh. I thought it'd be, with the restaurant, I thought that'd be interesting down there. And I was a little disappointed they didn't come back this year. Well, maybe next year they will.
One of the other big projects on the books for a number of years now, just up the road, the DRI project there at the Durkee Street parking lot. Are you expecting Prime to come back to you in the city with a new proposal?
I'm being told there is a new proposal. I haven't seen it. I don't know what it is. It's a little mixed. From what I'm being told, it's a little mixed use, and really excited to see what they have.
The previous one was mixed use. Does this address any issues that some of the opponents have had concerns with, or does it scale back the size of the number of apartments?
From what I understand, it's going to scale back. It's going to be a scaled back project, and it's going to be more of a mixed use, maybe. I've heard rumors of a hotel, part residential, which would be interesting.
No timetable yet for when Prime may be coming back to the city.
Not what I've been privy to at this point. And January is going to be a different day, so I'll get more answers for you in January.
Did you support the project before the way it was, or did you want changes?
I always support anything for growth in the city of Plattsburgh. I mean, I think the project was a little big for but it's hard to see something when you're, I've lived here my whole life, and you've looked at that parking lot in one way, and how that 110 units would have looked. I mean, we definitely would have been able to fill 110 units down there.
So the Prime project would add housing, desperately needed housing, and housing that the city needs.
If in fact there is.
If it's much like what it was before,
right.
Maybe scale back some, but would 50, 70, 100 units be good for that, for the downtown and for that Durkee Street parking lot?
Yeah, I think it'd be incredible. I mean, I think, and we'd have to sit down with the downtown business owners and try to come to some sort of middle ground with everybody, where it works for them and it works for us and it works for, as long as it works for everybody, and opening the door where we can sit down and have that communication with the Prime folks and the downtown business owners and everybody involved, bring all the stakeholders in, I think is the only way we're going to go forward with anything down there.
There have been a lot of vocal opponents, many of them unhappy about the loss of the parking there.
Right.
For businesses, people who live in the downtown, that has been free parking forever, and they're unhappy over the potential loss of that. Within the past couple of years, the city has also moved ahead with paid parking. They've built some new lots, the Arnie Pavone lot up on Margaret Street, off of Margaret Street, but they've gone to paid parking, and a number of people aren't happy about that. You've no doubt heard from those folks.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot about that. And that's something we're going to look at in January. If we're losing money on that, I don't see continuing it. I mean, I've seen some numbers that show both ways, and I said during the campaign that if we're losing money, we need to readdress it, and we will readdress it in January.
The search is underway now for a new police chief here in the city of Plattsburgh. It's been going on for a couple of months. Where are we in that process of seeking and finding a new police chief? What stage are we at?
I don't believe we have anyone right now. So, I mean, and I don't know how, I think they actually pulled the search back as far as right now. So that's something we'll start again in January.
What will be your priorities for a police chief?
Community oriented. Got to be community oriented. And I mean, in today's world, it's, there's so much mental health and drugs and, addiction issues that we have to have somebody that can, we have a great young police department, and a mentor, somebody that can mentor these young men and women.
Do you think the next leader may be within the ranks of the police department currently, or is it something that you have to open up statewide and nationwide to try to find the best candidate?
I always love to hire within, and hopefully we find that person. We just need to find the right person. And I don't want to make the wrong decision on this, because I think this is really important for the city of Plattsburgh.
Just a couple of weeks ago, the current mayor announced the formation of a charter commission to look at changing or updating the city's charter, with a focus once again on whether the city should consider changing its form of government, to hire a city manager to oversee the city and its budget and its finances. Voters said no about 10 years ago when the last charter commission was put on the ballot. What are your thoughts on on a charter commission, on them looking into this question again, and should the city potentially look at the idea of a city manager?
I wish I had been, I had made commitments to do this charter commission in January, February, which I would have done. But seeing as though it's already been, it's what the city of Plattsburgh wants. At the end of the day, what does the city of Plattsburgh want? And I hope they don't look at just that. I hope they're looking at that charter from front to back. And, the council, like we talked earlier, needs to have access to the department heads. And the language in the charter right now has been, you take it one way and I take it another way, and that needs to be cleaned up. It really does. So I'm hoping they're not looking at just the city manager. Some of that charter needs to be updated. The language needs to be updated. And as long as they're looking at it from A to Z, we're really good.
And as far as the question of city manager, though, do you support bringing that up and addressing that and looking into it once again?
If that's a recommendation they bring and it goes in front of the voters and the voters want that, we will get it implemented.
Do you think it's a good idea? Is that something you support?
I don't think it's needed.
If the commission does move ahead and put it on the ballot, then let the voters decide whether they want to go to this form of government?
Yeah. Without a doubt. I mean, that's the way the democracy works, right? And if that's what the folks in the city want, that's what they should have.
So you'll sit down with the council. Your first meeting will be in January. You're hoping for a better working relationship with them than both of your predecessors had.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so excited about starting January that. There's a lot of things that are really good in this city, and I just want to exploit the good stuff. And I think we can do that. I think we can do a really good job in the next 4 years, and we'll see what happens after those 4 years.